Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be so fun. I actually filmed a video last week and I posted it last week. I'll have it linked down below. But basically I had the idea of sharing with you guys a full face of makeup that I always get compliments on, and I thought it would be fun to involve you guys in this part 2 video where I ask you what products you get compliments on. So thank you to everybody who responded and filled out the Google form that I had on my last video. We got thousands of responses and it was so fun to look through everything. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. I have all the products that you guys talked about sitting right here in front of me, and it was actually amazing to see what products were mentioned the most. So that's kind of what made me choose all the products that I have sitting in front of me. We made sure to like kind of organize them and count them, and all these things were mentioned the most. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Little disclaimer, I have like some dry patches on my face. I got a facial a couple of days ago, and sometimes she uses like light acid peels, you know, to just help with texture and things like that. And just depending on the day and how my skin is, sometimes I peel, sometimes I don't. It looks like I'm going to be peeling in certain areas on my face, so just ignore that. We're still gonna move forward, and hopefully it doesn't affect the makeup look too much. I guess we'll find out, but just wanted to make that little disclaimer. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pin my hair back. I'm seriously so excited about today's video. I love doing videos where I involve you guys. They're just so much fun to film. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I think I kind of want to do complexion first because I have a lip color that's pretty bold. So I think I'm gonna keep my eye look pretty simple. So let's go ahead and do complexion. Oh, first of all, I thought it would be fun. We actually used the Google form and it showed us like this pie chart of what categories got the most compliments. Since it's back to school season, I'm gonna put up a pie chart on my video to show you guys, you know, the overall results from the poll that we had. So many of you guys submitted certain products in certain categories, and so that's what this pie chart kind of shows. I don't know, I thought it would be kind of fun to show you, and honestly, you guys, if there was some sort of a class at school when I was going to school that had to do with makeup and pie charts, you know, included foundation and concealer, I would have aced that class, you know? Anyways, we're gonna start off with a primer. So primer and moisturizer were actually in the same category, and by far, this is the primer that won. Now this was recommended by Riddy, Tammy, Katrina, Dita, Harika, and Jen. I wrote down just a few of the names. On some of them, there were like over 40 responses for the same category, so I just chose a few, but I thought it would be fun to mention who exactly talked about each product or recommended each product. So this is what we're going to be using. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. This is such an incredible product. It's one of my very favorites, and I can also like recommend this product when it comes to what I've gotten compliments on. It is so beautiful. I love to put it all over the skin, focusing it on the high points of the face. But you can use it underneath makeup, you can use it mixed into foundation, you can also use it as your actual highlighter, which is beautiful. So I'm just going to take a brush and kind of blend that out on the cheeks and along the forehead as well. In case you're wondering, I personally use the shade Too Light. All right, next up, this is going to be foundation. So Bailey, Lexi, Ashley, Tiffany, Luba, Jolindi, Jen, and Lindsay all said that they get the most compliments on this foundation right here. It's the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place foundation. There were also a couple people that mentioned this foundation from Estee Lauder. It's the Futurist Hydra Rescue foundation. So yeah, Estee Lauder definitely won by a landslide, but this one, the Double Wear, was definitely the most mentioned from Estee Lauder. So we're gonna go ahead and take a tiny bit of this. The littlest bit goes the long way. I need to finally just like buy the pump that they sell separately for this because I hate dumping it onto the back of my hand. I wish it would come with a pump, but you have to buy it separate. This is the shade 2-in-1 Desert Beige. I'm gonna take the tiniest amount. We're just gonna start layering this all over the skin. Even just the smell of this foundation brings back so many memories. I used to wear this nonstop. It truly is one of the best looking and most long wearing foundations that I've ever tried. And every time I wear it, I also get compliments on it just because it gives you the most flawless finish. And also, if you have acne prone skin especially, it's gonna give you gorgeous coverage. It's not gonna slip and slide all around. But also if you want to kind of lighten things up, you can just use a little bit less in case you don't want like tons and tons of coverage. I mean, it's gonna give you pretty good coverage anyway. But if you're worried about it like looking too heavy or cakey on the skin, you can just kind of use less or mix it in with a moisturizer and you still get all the benefits, but it will look a little bit more like natural if you're not looking for a full coverage face. This dry patch is not looking very cute with makeup on, but it's okay. will just kind of squint and blur everything, and then you can't even see it. All right, so let's move on to concealer. So Caroline, Delaney, and Lauren all mentioned that they get compliments when they wear the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. I have mine in the shade Almond. I'm just gonna dot this under the eyes, and I'm also gonna use it over top of blemishes. And then I'm just gonna use my sponge to blend that out. It's funny because I've owned this for a while, and every time I do these videos, well, not every time, but it seems like so often when I do videos where I ask you guys for your opinions or your recommendations, this concealer always is mentioned, and I don't know why I'm still not like super familiar with it. I always wear it in those videos, and then like, I don't know, I just stick to my usual, so I need to really give this a fair shot and wear it for more than a couple days at a time, you know? Like I need to wear it for a solid week and really get my opinion on it, because I know so many people love it. I know you guys definitely really love it. It's always mentioned. I just put a little bit more of that concealer on my cheeks because I feel like I could use a little more coverage. All right, so the next product is actually in the other category, but it's technically a powder. So Lexi, Sandra, and Saskia, I hope I'm saying that right. I'm sorry if I say any of your names wrong. I'm doing my best. But they all mentioned that they get so many compliments when they use this powder right here. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. It really is a gorgeous powder, and I have mine in the shade One Fair. So I actually have another powder that we're gonna use, but it's a little bit more luminous. So I wanted to use this one to set the concealer under the eyes. And this is gonna give like a little bit of coverage, but it's also really smoothing. It's such a pretty powder, and it's definitely one of my favorites for like special occasions too. All right, so now that we have the T-zone set with that powder, I'm gonna go in with the next powder, which was submitted in the powder category. So Jen, Vi, Line, Rita, Natalia, and Tammy all talked about the Hourglass Ambient Powders. So some of them said specific shades. I normally just use all three of these in this palette. This is from Hourglass. It's the Ambient Lighting palette. So there's 3 different shades. I kind of just mix them all. So that's what I'm going to use today. I'm going to focus on using maybe these 2. Well, I'm going to get a good mix of all 3. But I could see why people get compliments on these powders. They really just add glow to the skin. They're so gorgeous, and they never look sparkly or too heavy either. So it's so nice if you want to just use it over top of your setting powder as a finishing powder, or I know a lot of you guys use it as your actual setting powder if you're into more of that dewy kind of a look to your skin. So yeah, it works either way, but you can see as I'm buffing, like you can already see the glow that gets added back into the complexion. It's such a pretty product. I'm trying to avoid the T-zone a little bit because that dry patch is driving me nuts, but that's all right. Hopefully you all get the idea. Wow, my complexion is looking really nice despite my couple problem areas, but seriously, it looks really, really flawless, but also really healthy with that powder that we just added. So love that. All right, let's move on to bronzer. So for bronzer, Abigail, Georgia, Sean, and Charisse all talked about Milani bronzers. I think 2 of them mentioned the baked bronzers and 2 of them mentioned the silky matte bronzers. So I decided that maybe I will layer both, starting with the Milani Silky Matte Bronzer. I was so glad that like multiple people mentioned this because I personally love this bronzer so much. You guys probably already know. It's one of my favorite bronzers. Seriously, like high-end and drugstore included. This bronzer never fails me. I love it. I'm gonna go ahead and warm up the complexion with this, and I'm gonna use more of a matte shade first to kind of create the shape that I want with the bronzer, and then we'll layer over top the baked bronzer just for that glow, because it is a little bit more of a like satin, not really shimmery, but it does have a little bit of glow in the baked formula. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start building this up. I'm gonna make sure to blend the bronzer down the neck, and it actually looks so nice being blended on top of that Hourglass Ambient powder. That's what's fun about these videos. Like I already owned almost every single product that I'm gonna be talking about today, except for the lip color, because the lip color was a little bit specific, so I did have to go buy that. But I've never worn all of these products together. So that's really fun. I don't know. It's like new for me in a way. All right, so I have the Milani Baked Bronzer here as well. I have a couple of shades. I think I'm gonna use the lighter shade today. Sometimes I can get away with this one. I'm gonna go ahead and use the lighter shade. This is 09 Dolce. I'm just gonna take the same brush and I'm gonna add this to the perimeters of the face just to add that extra glow. Wow, I'm actually like in love with my complexion so far, and it's crazy because my skin's like not even in the best place right now with some of the dry patches, but besides this, like if you just ignore that one area, woo, my skin looks so healthy. I really love it. Moving on to, let's do, yeah, we'll do highlighter first because I like to layer on blush after highlighter. So many of you guys mentioned this. I'm gonna name off just a few names because again, I really want to make sure I mention those of you who participated. So Veronica, Sasha, Sierra, Addie, Michelle, Amber, Aradia, Regan, Zaina, Leselyn, Aisha, and Monique. Hopefully I pronounced all of your names right, but every single one of them said that they get so many compliments on the Essence Pure Nude highlighters. A couple of them did mention the Sunlighter, which is the deeper shade. So if you have medium to deep skin tones, the Sunlighter is a little bit more golden and a little deeper. If you have fair to medium, the Pure Nude highlighter is a really great one. You guys know how much I love this. And I have also received so many compliments when I wear this, so I can definitely relate. It's such a beautiful highlighter and you get compliments on it because I think it just looks so natural. So a lot of people, you know, might say, oh my gosh, your skin looks so glowy, instead of like, oh, what highlighter are you wearing? Because it really does sink into the skin so nicely. I love this stuff. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply it to the high points of the face. Down the center of the nose, on the cupid's bow. Oh wow, I just love this. It looks so pretty. All right, for blush, this was another one that so many of you guys mentioned. I will just name a few names. Annika, Katerina, Jackie, Elena, Cicely, and Sophia. They all mentioned Milani again. It's kind of fun to see like how many drugstore products get compliments. That's my favorite, when other people mention like drugstore products that you're wearing and they compliment you, because I love that. I love when people say, ooh, what foundation is that? And you're like, well, actually, it's only $5 or whatever. Like it's at the drugstore and it blows people's minds. It's my favorite. But the Milani baked blushes, some people said the shade Rose D'Oro, I think is what it was called. There was a couple people that mentioned that, but most people, when they talked about the Milani baked blushes, mentioned the shade Luminoso, which is a classic. It's gorgeous. I love it. I actually, last weekend, I actually did my now sister-in-law's makeup. So my husband's brother just got married, and I did her makeup for the wedding. It was really, really special, and I used this blush on her, and it looked so good, and it made me want to wear it again because of how gorgeous it looked on her in photos and in person. Like, it really is a gorgeous blush. And so I was excited when people mentioned this, because even though I did her makeup and I knew what blush she was wearing, I kept seeing her and being like, ooh, like her blush looks good. It was definitely a very luminous blush, so things are looking glowy. I'm really sorry about this whole situation. My textured skin isn't necessarily the best right now for a very glowy, like dewy, luminous skin look, but we're all friends here, so, you know, I appreciate you guys for looking past that with me. But it really is such a pretty blush. It makes your skin look so healthy. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. It's really so beautiful. I'm just taking my sponge and kind of pressing everything down into the skin. I'm going back in with my Charlotte Tilbury airbrush powder and just kind of smoothing the T-zone out. I'm trying to just kind of soften that since I don't want too much of a sheen right here. It will emphasize the texture that I have going on right now, so just trying to smooth that out as much as I can. Alrighty, let's do brows next. So I'm just using a spoolie on this pencil. This was not one of the products that was mentioned. Well, maybe it was mentioned, but I'm just using it to brush up my brows. The product that was mentioned by Tammy, Carissa, and Iman are the Glossier Brow Flick pens. So it's like the ones where, I'll just show you. They look like a pen and you just kind of like draw on the hairs. So this was the most mentioned brow product. There were a lot of people that mentioned things from Anastasia, but so many people mentioned different things from Anastasia. So this was the most like consecutively, is that the word? It was the most mentioned brow product. All right, let's go ahead and fill in the brows. I'm gonna use the shade Brown first, and I'm just gonna start filling in the outer portion. It actually makes sense to me why this might have been complimented a lot, because I think this is a product that, you know, is a little more obvious, I guess, when you put it in your brows, because it looks different than a pencil. I like to take the shade Blonde, and I like to use that in the front portion of the brow so it's not too dark. I almost wish they had a spoolie on the other side, because I always use a spoolie with these, just because like sometimes the lines at the bottom can get a little harsh looking. So I feel like when you brush through it after you fill it in, it just softens everything and looks a lot more natural. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and do the other side. The fabulous thing about this product, even though it does take a little practice to get the hang of, at least that's what I experienced, but once you do, these do not budge. So if you're somebody like me who doesn't have a ton of brow hairs and you need it to last through everything, this does the trick. It really does last so well on the brows. So All right, let's move on to eyeshadow. I'm so excited about this because almost 40 people mentioned this eyeshadow palette. Eyeshadow was definitely one of the top categories, which makes sense because it's something that's a little more obvious. If you're wearing a really beautiful eyeshadow, people are gonna point it out. But I was shocked at how many people mentioned this one. So just to name a few people, Megan, Suzette, Courtney, Lindsay, Mallory, Lauren, Valerie, Brianna, Irie, Emma, Becca, and Lisa were just a few of the people that mentioned that they always get compliments when wearing the Tati Beauty Textured Neutrals eyeshadow palette. I can relate. Every single time I wear this, especially if you pop on any of the glitters in this palette, people are gonna start talking. They're gonna really notice it and say something. It's one of my favorite palettes, so this is what I'm gonna be using today. Like I said, because of the lip color, I'm gonna keep it kind of simple, but I do wanna use one of the glitters as kind of the focal point because that was specifically what a few people had written, that they get compliments on the glitter shades specifically in this palette. So I'm gonna start off by using this shade right here. It's the Matte Aura. Just gonna make sure that there's no concealer on the eyes. And this for me is like my favorite to use all over the lid to prep and prime the eyes. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna take a fluffy brush and buff it from lash line all the way up to brow bone. Next, I'm gonna take the same brush and dip into the matte shade called Soothe, which is just a really nice warm brown. I'm gonna kind of distribute this on both the eyes. I forgot almost how pigmented this is, so I only needed a little bit. A little goes a very long way, so that's why I kind of put some on the other eye as well to even things out. But I'm just gonna buff this into that first shade just to create some definition in the crease a little bit. And once there's less on the brush, I really wanna kind of buff things up toward the brow a little bit. And since we applied that Aura matte shade, which was that lighter color, when I buff it up toward the brow, it kind of mixes in with that and creates more of a gradient, which I really love. So it kind of lightens the shade and makes it even more of a transition. I'm gonna dip into Soothe again, the matte shade, and I'm just gonna kind of put a little definition along the lower lash line with this. These shadows blend so beautifully. They're amazing. I think this is all I'm gonna do besides the glitter. Again, I just wanna keep it kind of simple. My favorite glitter in the palette, this one right here, it's called Aura. I've already hit pan, but I think I'm gonna use this golden shade. So again, this is the Soothe glitter shade. I'm just gonna use this on my finger, and I'm going to apply this all over the eyelid. These are such good glitters. All right, I'm just gonna do the same thing on this eye. I'm being really gentle since I did my complexion first. I'm gonna try not to get too much falling down on the face. I'm gonna take off the foundation on the lips, it's just bugging me. And I'm just gonna gently sweep away any fallout that we did get. So pretty, that glitter is so pretty, oh my gosh. Especially when you go outside and if the sun hits your face, like that glitter looks so pretty. It's one of my favorites. So I'm gonna go ahead and dip into this right here, the metallic Aura shade. And I'm gonna use this color as the inner corner highlight. And I'm gonna take what's left and apply it right underneath the highest point of the brow. All right, so next up we have an eyeliner that was mentioned by Tabitha, Lexi, Evie, Liz, and Rima. So the Urban Decay 24/7 eyeliners were what were mentioned that they get the most compliments on. Some of them mentioned a specific color, one of which was Mainline, which was this really pretty blue color, but then others said different shades, so I'm not sure if it meant that like people complimented their eyeliner because they're fun colors or they're like metallics or glitters. So anyway, I wanted to mention Mainline, although because of the lip color, well, should I wear this one? You know what? Why not? We're just gonna do it. Since this specific shade was mentioned, we're just gonna do it. So hopefully it doesn't look crazy at the end. I'm gonna go ahead and apply this shade to the outer portion of my eyelid, and again, this is called Mainline. So actually, once it's applied, it actually is pretty wearable and a little bit more subtle. So I'm gonna try to keep it a little more on the subtle side so it doesn't clash completely with the lip color. But I think it'll make like a nice little touch for anyone that looks at my eyes up close. Why not? All right, so we've got that on the eyes. Now I'm gonna do mascara. And I was actually shocked at how many people mentioned this specific mascara. Sood, Karina, Sam, Amber, Amanda, Anna, Sierra, Anisha, Bernadine, Denise, Camille, and Marcy all mentioned this mascara that they get so many compliments on. It's the Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara. I actually discovered this because of you guys, and it really is a gorgeous formula. And it makes your lashes look so nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this to the top and bottom lashes. Mascara was a really fun category to read through because most of the mascaras were actually drugstore mascaras. A lot of people mentioned the Essence mascara, L'Oreal, Maybelline. Yeah, it was just kind of fun to see so many drugstore mascaras get compliments. Oh, the L'Oreal Telescopic was another one of the top mascaras, but this one beat it by just a couple of people. Oh my word, I don't know what's happening today, but I made the biggest mess with this mascara. So, especially on this eye, what the heck? I don't know what happened. I'm just gonna wait for that to dry and then we'll buff off the mascara marks. All right, so now the moment we've all been waiting for, the lipstick. So many people mentioned the Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink lip colors. Some people talked about specific colors. Some people just mentioned that people compliment the formula because it lasts so long, so they noticed that. But 4 people specifically mentioned this shade in the formula, so this is what I had to go buy because I didn't own it. But Marina, Esperanza, Mackenzie, and Feruz all mentioned this shade. It's a red, so that makes sense why a lot of people might compliment this type of a lip color because it's a little bit more bold and obvious. This is the shade 20 Pioneer. So this is what we're gonna be wearing today. Should I do a lip liner? Probably. We'll just start. Maybe I'll go in and clean up the edges with a lip liner after we already have applied some of it. So I'm just gonna start applying this. And I'm sorry, I can't really talk while I do this. It's too tedious. Okay, so now that I have the color laid down, I'm gonna try to clean up the edges with a lip liner. Okay, I think that's as good as it's gonna get for now. I'm gonna try to let that dry a little bit more. This is a beautiful red. It has a really nice kind of pink undertone to it. Okay, I've been trying to buff this mascara mark. This one's not quite coming off, but it faded at least. Oh wow, this red makes my teeth look really white too, which is always a plus. Oh wow, thanks. Wow, this is low-key too soon, but it kind of makes me excited for the holidays, this makeup look, you know? Like a good glittery eye and a red lip. I'm really into it. Okay, so next we're gonna do a setting spray. Well, first, I guess we should assess the situation. I'm just gonna take what's left on the bronzer brush and add a little bit more warmth to the skin. I'm gonna take a little bit more actually of the matte Milani bronzer, the silky matte one, and just add a bit more to the face. And I think also since we have a pretty bright lip on, we could get away with a little more blush. I'm gonna focus it on the outer portions of the cheeks, again, to just avoid the dry texture I have going on. So I'm just gonna apply it here. It's so glowy. So I'm gonna take my powder brush and kind of blend things out a little. And then, all right, for setting spray, Annie, Kayla, Nicole, and Lauren all mentioned this setting spray that I lost. Where did I put it? Okay. Oh, it fell down. Okay. This right here, the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. So we're gonna go ahead and pull the hair back and just spray the face with this. I'm just gonna use my hands to fan this off. My fan is sitting like across the room and I'm just too lazy to grab it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just let this dry on its own. Once it's almost dry, as always, I love to take my sponge and just go back in to the complexion and press everything down into the skin. And then last but not least, I believe, yeah, this has got to be the last step. We have a brow gel, and Ashley, Sarah, and Julia all mentioned that they have been complimented on the Glossier Boy Brow. So I personally just have the shade Clear right now, so I'm just going to use that. Another popular brow gel that people were talking about, or that they said they get compliments on, was the Benefit Gimme Brow. That was one. Glossier Boy Brow obviously was the one that was the most mentioned. And then there was another one that was similar to the Benefit Gimme Brow, the Catrice. Is it Catrice or Essence? It's called Make Me Brow. That was another one that was mentioned quite a bit. I'm actually going to go back into my spoolie I was using on that other pen, just to kind of take out the excess product that I applied through this brow. All right, I'm just gonna take my hair down. Well, friends, I feel gorgeous in this makeup. Honestly, I'm like looking at myself in the monitor and also in my mirror, and like this lip color really is so pretty. I don't wear reds that often, but I'm really happy about this red. It's like, oh, it's on my teeth a little bit, hang on. But it's like a deeper red, but it's not so deep to where it's like not wearable, but it's also not like a deep cranberry. It's a red. It's just perfect. Like it's a really good color. And I feel like my complexion looks so glowy and healthy. I'm really happy with how my makeup turned out. So thank you guys so much for helping me with this video. It was so fun for me to piece together the makeup that you get the most compliments on. In a perfect world, it would have been really fun to go out after this and see if I got any, you know, compliments on my makeup look. But people aren't gonna be able to see my lipstick when I'm wearing a mask. We'll have to put this to the test sometime in the future because I think it would be really, really fun to see if people mention my makeup, wearing all the things that you guys get compliments on. So yeah, I enjoyed filming this video so much. I honestly could make like 100 more videos off of all the products that were submitted. So if you guys want to see more of these, I would love to make more and kind of go through and see what other products were the most mentioned, and I could do a part 3. Only if you guys want to see it. I really enjoyed filming this. I love involving you guys, so if you'd like to see more, and if you're nosy and curious to know, just like I am, I love to know what other people love or like what people get complimented on. So I think it might be fun to do another version of this video. Let me know in the comments if you guys own any of these products and if you guys have been complimented when you wear them. I would love to know in the comments. If you're new here, hi, my name is Allie, and I would love for you to join the family. You can do so by hitting the subscribe button. And if you're already a subscriber but you want to be notified on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, click on the bell after you subscribe and you'll get a notification every single time I post. Also, if you're still here, I forgot to mention this in the beginning, but if you're still watching, you're definitely a very loyal subscriber, so I wanted to let you guys know that we will be restocking my makeup bags so soon. So soon as in next week. So if you guys want to be notified or if you want to get all the updates, be sure to be following me at Shop Allie Glines on Instagram. I'll have all the info in the description box down below, and we're also launching something new. So I will be posting all of the launch information, and also I will be revealing the new product on launch day next week. So that's really exciting. So yeah, I wanted to give those of you who are still watching a little heads up. But yeah, I love you all so much. I hope you have an amazing day wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye.